If you think you are scared, you are. If you think you are sad, you are. But the moment you decide you are not, you are not. If you don't love yourself, who will? If you don't praise yourself, who will? If you don't believe in yourself, who will? But the moment you decide, the world will claim that they always knew. Self-confidence is something we want all our students to have, whether it is school children or whether it's college students. We want all of us to be confident in ourselves. When I look back, what made me confident? Was it my parents' love? Was it the love they had, they felt? My father felt, I'll be a cricketer, like I'll be Kapil Dev, you can be Sunil Gavaskar, he used to tell me. And his words of praise, did that give me self-confidence? Or was it in school, when there's a teacher who gives you praise? So in that graph, you can see the class-wise, how my confidence changed over the years. And I realized in class 4, Miss Egbert felt Jibrael has potential. And you know, when she said that, I started studying geography a bit more. I knew all the capitals by heart. She used to go around in class asking, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala. And the answers were given, and she was not asking me. I was raising my hand, but she was not giving me the chance. So what I did a bit of theater. I acted as if I didn't know when she asked Arunachal Pradesh, and I did like this, and I thought, and as soon as I did like this, she said, Jibrael. And I said, Itanagar. And she came, she smiled, she tapped on my head because she knew I had been a bit over smart. I was acting as if I did not know. But that teacher saw potential in me. In that year's magazine, there is a photo of mine, class 4, Jibrael Jos, a student with potential. I didn't come first in class, but she said I had potential. And when she said I had potential, I believed it. In class 5, there was Miss Banerjee, and she divided the class into 4 groups: lion, tiger, cheetah, panther. And I was the captain of the panther team. And this is just class 5, keep in mind. But there, when we were doing small activities, we were taking part in quizzes, we did a small play. I was just a security guard in that play. But in that whole process of doing those activities, I felt confident. And if I'm a teacher today, I will say it's because of Miss Banerjee, because she was a teacher. She used to go for treks. Today, I go for treks. She talked about theater. Today, I do theater. In class 5, in 1985, somebody inspired me to do something. But is inspiration enough? Is words of encouragement enough? What else is required? So as I grew up, I also realized it's also the books which I may have read. It could be the experiences which I've had. Maybe the success I had on stage, maybe a play which I took part and I got a stage time. It could be the dance performance where I took part. It could be multiple things which add up to a sense of confidence. So as a teacher, my aim was to, how do I empower that self-confidence in the students? What can I do to make them feel confident as early as possible? So I have done workshops for school children in class 8, many of them. I have done workshops for college students when they join orientations. But somewhere I want them to feel the confidence. So those circles which you see are the teachers who made an impact in my life. But when I look later, the teacher's impact was not so much. It was the peers who encouraged me. When they said, you are a great actor, Jibrael, I said, yeah, I'm a great actor. You know, somebody else says that, but what was required? In an orientation, this is the Christ Engineering College. At 9 o'clock in the morning, on the first week of engineering college, these students were standing on the auditorium with a smile on their face, but not sure what to do. The ice had not broken, they did not know each other yet. But by that day's activity, a bit of theater, a bit of dance, a bit of essay writing, a bit of poetry, that class became a bit more together. The chemistry of the class connected a bit more. And by those orientations, I felt by the end of the day, they were able to go on stage and dance. Not all of them, half of them. But the very next day, when there was a competition to be done, there were more teams and then they performed. The whole 44 students went on stage and they danced. Many of them had never danced before. But what made them dance? What gave them the confidence to go up on stage? Were there some baby steps which required them to reach there? We as teachers want to empower our students to be confident. If somebody makes fun of us, we should not get, I can't do this, that feeling should not come. Swami Vivekananda said, we have belief in all our gods, but we don't believe in ourselves, it serves no purpose. So at some level, it is thinking. But the next level could be the experiences which we have. What are the opportunities we create for students to interact with each other? Maybe it's a project, maybe it's a hackathon, maybe it's a lab, maybe it's an opportunity to speak, and that makes a big difference. I remember I used to take these classes for an orphanage in Bangalore, and over the 7 years I was there, every Christmas we did a play, just a simple play, a 10 to 12-minute play. The students only direct. I used to script it, but direction was done by them, acting was done by them. But there were students who were in class 5, class 3, who had a small role in the play. They just had to walk across, maybe say a line. But I remember Shant Kumar, how we went from class 5 to class 10, starting with a few lines. Later he went on to take a lead role. He played the main role. He was involved in the scripting. He directed the last year's play. And over the years, I could see a transformation in him. It was not just that I said, oh, you are a great actor, Shant Kumar. It was also because he put effort in the practices, in the things which went by. In each of those performances, he put his effort. He planned it. He scripted it. And over time, he was successful. So experience plays a key role. And if I ask all of you, at what point were you confident? You will tell maybe in class 5 or class 7 and class 9. At which age you got confidence? They'll be different for each one of you. But it may not be a confidence in all the areas. You may be confident academically, but you may be scared to go on stage. You may be confident on the sports field, but you may not be sure about going and reciting a poem. And when students come to college, we want them to excel, we want them to do well, we want them to optimally use their 3 years. What opportunities can we as teachers create for them? What opportunities can students create for each other? So we do leadership workshops so that, somewhere there is an interaction. Maybe students can inspire the other students. I tell them, you stand at the break of dawn getting ready for what you're born. The bow is bent and ready, your aim is holding steady. Your eyes see the multiple target and your heart wants it all. The string is stretched and taut, the arrow is ready for the shot. The universe is with you, give it all that you've got. You are the sunrise the world has long sought. You are the sunrise the world has long sought. But how does that transformation happen? How do you become sunrise? How do you become the sun? If I look back, there was a time when for Diwali I was feeling alone. And my children were not there, they were in a different city that time. And I was feeling a bit left out. And at that point I decided to go to the orphanage and share a box of sweets. And they all came running, Jos uncle, and we hugged and we had a good time. We burnt a bit few firecrackers and all. But what made that day special was not just that day and that box of sweet. It was my connection with them over the years, due to which they came running and saying, Jos uncle. It was their contribution and my contribution which together made a difference in my life. So some Diwalis, when you're away from home and no real friends nearby, you may be the solitary diya amidst the fireworks in the sky. When the only box of sweet is the one you got, the only wish is the one you thought. Take heart and make a start and be a source of joy. Wipe a tear, bring some cheer. You are the fireworks in the sky. You are the fireworks in the sky. And we can be fireworks, or we can be a diya lighting somewhere in a small room in the darkness. What decides that change? What drives you? What makes you do 1, 2, 3 things? There are many books, and books itself doesn't inspire us enough, because Stephen Covey says, for instance, go from a state of dependence to a state of independence. He says there are 3 habits which make you go from this state to that state. But reading a book itself may not help unless you have experienced some of those things, unless you have gone through life. And many times we read a book and we connect to the point because we have experienced that, and due to which we see that point there. And that's how we connect sometimes with the books. So the books itself may not solve the problem. A teacher praising you may not solve the problem. What may be required is a bit more involvement. It may require you to start coding. It may require you to start speaking on stage. So there are a workshop I conduct called the Creative Empowerment. And in that, I ask teachers to speak. I ask them to write poetry. I ask them to think about philosophical topics. But simple things can make a difference. For instance, one exercise I create was, I asked them to say, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. That's a simple poem. We have all heard it at some point in time. But if I ask you to say it with eye contact, looking right into the eye without making a mistake, Jack, and then you're gone. If you can say it without making a mistake under pressure on stage, go on the podium and say, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown and Jill came tumbling after. Can you put the emotions in that? A sad emotion. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown and Jill came tumbling after. Can you be the news reporter and saying, reporting live, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after? Or can you do it in a way where you feel you don't like Jack and Jill, and you're saying it like this, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. But by doing an exercise again and again, it may get better. But in a class, there are 60 students and there are 60 minutes. If I give every child 1 minute to speak, it may not work out. He may not get enough exposure. So sometimes we have to do a collective thing. Sometimes we make them stand in a circle. Maybe they are sharing together. All of them are saying Jack and Jill together. 30 of them are saying Jack and Jill together, and 30 of them are listening to it. And together within that 60 minutes, maybe the child will speak 20 minutes and not 1 minute. And that idea on how to create that class, how to curate that workshop, how to plan that activity such that optimally students are doing things. In a lab, we don't expect one student to code at a time. We want all 60 students to code. How do you create those experiences? Now, this is a set of workshops which were done, and you can see there's a lot of feedback the students have given in terms of interaction, motivation. But end of the day, most of this depends on their readiness to learn, their readiness to learn. If you look at this group here, the students who have come in here already have motivation. They came in here because they wanted to listen to something. And that is the first step. And when that is ready, then a teacher can make a difference. I remember a moment when I was in Udupi, Kaapu beach. And I was standing on a weekday. The sand is this way. There's a lighthouse on the right-hand side. It's a red and white striped lighthouse. It stands on the rock. And I look at the lighthouse, I feel inspired. I look at the sand, and the sand feels inspiring. I look at the waves which keep coming in, and I say, look, the waves are so persistent. I see the dragonflies which fly in groups of hundreds over the waves. Along with the breeze, they go left and they go right. I see inspiration all around me. Where do you see inspiration? Pray in the temple or under the tree. Learn from the guru or from the sea. And that day, while sitting there in 2008, I devised one session where I used for self-belief. I use that as a session, and I say the person who's listening to it has the ability to discern, the ability to see motivation in the waves, in the breeze, in the sun. And that is what we want the students to be. But when I look back, what made that Kaapu beach experience different? I've gone to many beaches. If you look at the experiences, you just go travel all over the world. It doesn't guarantee that we'll go and we'll mature and we'll become wiser. Those experiences have a bit more level to be seen. The reason that Kaapu beach was different because I was going through a divorce that year. The reason that Kaapu beach made an impact was because I was doing a road trip that year. The reason that Kaapu beach made a difference was because I decided to move from my IT job and go on to my teaching job. And in that moment of decision, that moment of thing, everything seems to be speaking to me. Everything seems to be inspiring me. And that is where we all are. We need those experiences, we need those inspiration, but it will come only after we put the effort. It requires us to put a certain amount of effort, and then we could experience that whole thing. One idea as a teacher is how do you empower students to get better at it. If you look at this, this is a production which happened in Bannerghatta campus. There were 100 people on stage, 45 dancers, actually 150 people on stage, 45 dancers in 3 teams. There was a choir which sang. There were 3 theater groups which performed together, 3 plays. It was one single play, but one production which was done together. They had practiced for 20 to 25 days. And at the end of it, the output was a production. But in that experience which was created for them. I did not do the direction. I did not do the scripting. I just created an environment for them to do certain things. The directors are there. The Vidul is the one who directed the whole thing. He's there. In that photograph, the people in the front were the key leaders who took the leadership. Then there were other students who enthusiastically participated in that production. But by doing that one production, that campus came together. If each of us play a small role in helping others become creative, we can make a big difference in other people's life. It doesn't have to be a teacher, it could be a student. It could be anybody you do. What is the impact you're planning to make? What is the change you're going to do? I'll repeat that poem one last time. You stand at the break of dawn, getting ready for what you're born. The bow is bent and ready, your aim is holding steady. Your eyes see the multiple target, and your heart wants it all. The string is stretched and taut, the arrow's ready for the shot. The universe is with you, give it all that you've got. You are the sunrise the world has long sought. You are the sunrise the world has long sought. Let us creatively empower students to reach the next level. Let's creatively empower our friends to reach the next level. I'm Jibrael. Thank you.